FlossTube, this is Karen with KB Studio Creations, and today I am going to show you how to finish an Afghan. I will be finishing my Animal Faces Afghan, and this is my first time finishing an Afghan. However, I thought I'd bring you along for the journey, tell you a little bit about what I've learned as I've researched finishing Afghans, and hopefully this can be a help to you. I did not find any Afghan tutorials, so I thought I would make one to help everyone out. So some of the sources I found for finishing Afghans, one was just CrossStitch, an article on their website talking about finishing with a fringe. And then another is from a blogger, the Den of Slack. So she talked about how she fully finished an Afghan. And then the last is I have this other Afghan. This is not the Afghan I used, but this Charles Craft Afghan has some instructions as well. So I'll be gathering information from all of these to help me as I finish it. Also, Primitive Stitcher shows an Afghan she finished in her episode, I believe it's 53, and I will link all these resources down below as well as in my show notes, so that you can look at them as well as, see what I do. So, most of them talk about washing it. At this point, I have not washed it, nor am I planning to wash it at this point. I may someday, but I'm not going to do it now. The people who did wash it said they did it on gentle cycle, and the Den of Slack, that blog said she got a large lingerie bag to stick it in to help keep it safe as she washed it. And then I believe they all air dried them. But for now, I don't think it looks that dirty, so I'm not going to wash it. I also have ironed it already. Some wrinkles are kind of not coming out very well, but it's a lot better than it was, and I'm okay with that. I used some of the tips and tricks from Vonna Pfeiffer's tutorials on ironing. So if you want to check her out, I will link her below as well. But I did use Best Press, and I used, just a hot iron on cotton setting. So now I'm going to work on making the fringe. So I will change the angle so you can see what I'm doing. So now I am ready to create the fringe. The Den of Slack said that she machine sewed around the fabric before she did the fringe. I am not going to do that. I am just going to start removing these threads. As you can see, some of them already started coming out. And I'm going to use a thread hopper. One of my model stitchers made this for me, and she gave me this note that you can learn about how to use a thread hopper in Stitcherista's FlossTube number 174, and I will link that below as well. So I'm just going to use this. You could also use a needle, a counting pin to help start threads, and then I will pull them out. And you won't be able to see me go all the way down the line, but I'll just keep pulling until I have a full strand out. And I will keep doing that to continue to create the fringe. The Queen Anne, or no, sorry, not the Queen Anne, the Charles Craft Afghan says to go within 4 squares of the outside edge. Now that one has a lot longer area for a fringe, if you can see this. It's quite long, but I'm still going to use the same principle. It also has a thicker border between the fabric and it's got the special border, whereas this one has a very thin border, but I still think it'll be okay. So as I'm going, I'm finding only 1 or 2 at a time can be pulled. It gets a little difficult if I try to pull too many strands at once. Especially, it looks like the more I pull out, the more they like to get stuck. as I get to the other side. Kind of like right here, how it's kind of getting stuck. So you just kind of pull it out. You also could maybe use a needle, thread hopper, or whatever to help separate those strands. I'm also just going to try pulling, see if that works. And that did work, so I might try that with another one. So I'm having to pull it down as I go. But it is working. And right now I'm doing the short sides, so we'll see how this goes when I do the long sides. Oh, that one broke. And now I've lost the end. There we go. And as I'm doing it, it looks like I'm not even really needing the thread hopper that much because I have discovered this different method. But it can be helpful at the beginning, especially if you don't have strands already separated. My phone stopped recording because it doesn't have a lot of space on it, but I finished doing this top one and I'm now working on this other side. You could, if you wanted, just have a little bit of fringe and leave a lot of space. That's what it looked like Primitive Stitcher did on hers. But I am going to try to do some knotting of the fringe. So I, like they suggest in the Charles Craft Afghan and in Just CrossStitch. So I will be doing more, even though it can be a bit of a pain. So on this other side, I'm once again just pulling the thread, letting it tighten up, and then pulling the fabric along to loosen it up. Pulling it tight and loosening it up. So this doesn't really show well on camera, so I'm going to go off camera to remove the rest of the threads on all of the sides. I'm gonna try to show you what I'm doing. I'm trying to find a way to show you so that you can see what I'm doing, because showing it down below wasn't working very well. So let's see if this works. I grab a thread, and this is the longer side, so it kind of gets stuck. I pull, and then as it starts, well, this one's actually going out really well. That one came out easily. Well, never mind. Let's try the next one. So I pull it, and often it gets stuck, so I start I kind of pull it down. So grab a thread, pull it so it's tightened, and then I pull it down. And then I pull it some more, and it gets tight, and I pull it so it's smooth again. And I just keep doing that until it comes out. I hope that is a better way to show you what I'm doing as I'm creating this fringe. I haven't finished fringing, but I have finished fringing two sides, so I thought I would show you how I'm going to knot it. The Just CrossStitch recommends putting some fray block on here. I don't have any, so I'm not going to worry about that. And they say select 4 or 5 and knot at the base. The Charles Craft Afghan says count 10 threads and knot up close to the weave. So I'm going to start, and I'm in this corner to help secure it. I grabbed 3 from each side, and so I have 6, and I'm just going to tie a knot. and try to pull it tight to the bottom. So there I have my first knot. So I'm going to count some more, maybe use my thread hopper to help me separate them out. 1, 2, 3. And since I did 6 the first time, I guess I'll just keep going with 6 for the moment. I don't know if it'll add up or not, but actually I think 5 would look better. Let's do 5. The corners can be 6. So since this is a relatively short fringe, it is a little hard to do the knots, but I think it's going to look really great, and I'm going to go through and do that and do all the others, and I will show you the finished project later because it's going to take me a while to finish fringing all the sides and to get them all knotted. As I'm making the knots, so like I said, I'm pulling out some 5 strands, and then I wrap it around my finger, and I have this loop, and I push the strands through. And then I found, so you don't want it to be up here at the top, you like push it down. Although this one was too much, so that's too far up. But I can't really do it holding up, but I just kind of want to show you to like pull it down, but also keep it loose. And so this one, since it's too high up, I'm going to undo it and redo it. Let's see if I can show you. So now I've got this loose one again, and so I'm pulling it down so it down reaches the fabric. It's not focusing, but it's down here. You can kind of see the fabric, and that's when I make it fully tight. So until you get it to the place you want it next to the fabric, don't pull it fully tight. I did that once and then I had to undo it and it was kind of difficult. So just try to make it so that the knots rest where the fabric ends. So I have finished doing the fringe all along it. It did take me a couple hours, probably about 2.5 hours to do this fringe. So just know if you want to do a fringe like this, it may take you a while to tie all of these knots. And a few last things. One is, I don't know if you can tell, but this on this top row, I don't think you can tell, I pulled it a little tight at these ends, so it kind of pulls in just a little bit. So just be careful of that if you don't want, I mean, you can't really tell too much, but it just kind of pulls it in a bit. So be careful when you're doing like the corners. Also, this type of cloth is called Ann cloth. So that's kind of what you're looking for. You can just search for like CrossStitch Afghan and you'll find cloth as well. But if you want to search by the name, I'm pretty sure it's called, well, I found that it's called Ann cloth. I got this piece given to me, so I did not have to purchase it, but I'll maybe link some places below where I found where you can buy Ann cloth. Oh, some people put iron-on backing, iron-on interfacing on the back. It does make it a little stiffer, but it also protects the stitching. I chose not to. I just, made sure I secured my threads as I was going along, and I think it'll be fine. Some people have also talked about putting like fleece or some sort of soft fabric on the back, sewing it to the back of their finished Afghan. Once again, I didn't choose to do that, but it is an option if you want to do that. A little bit about these patterns, if you're interested. Other than that, I will also I'll insert here a picture of the entire piece since it's hard to show it on camera. But just a little bit about the patterns. I designed these animal faces. When I first came up with the idea, I was going to do 18 faces, so I was going to do 3, 2, 3. But as I was going on, I came up with the idea to do some with bows in their hair and with bow ties. So for each animal face in this series, I have one that's just the face, one that has a bow tie, and one that has a hair bow. So I only ended up doing 12 animal faces. They are all available in my Etsy shop, which is linked below. So I have a monkey, a koala, a giraffe, a frog, a bear, a fox, an owl. Let's see if you can see the owl. Okay, owl, lion, and hippo. a pony, a pig, and an elephant. So if you're interested in any of those, they are all available in my Etsy shop. And if you want to do one like this, you can either do something like me, where you do one of each animals, or you could even do like 4 animals, all 3 versions, or choose your own thing. But this is the finished Afghan. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Like I said, this was my first time doing it, but I did enjoy it, and I plan to do more in the future. Happy stitching and finishing. Bye.